What's up, Zoms? Welcome to the RPD. This is Theory Chat, our live Resident Evil 2 Remake analysis show. Demon with the $20 donation to get the show started. Let's get some hearts and some smiley faces and some demons in the chat for Demon. If you guys want information on how to help the channel, you can see all that in the description. If you are watching on the replay, I hope you enjoy. If you're watching live, the chat is right there. Everybody's really cool. I'm Where's Barry. You guys are the Zoms, and together we are the Crimson Army, and we're solving all the mysteries of Resident Evil 2 Remake. Before Capcom tells us, we're jumping ahead, we're guessing, we're researching, we're figuring it all out. We are the champions of the world. Now let's zoom into the RPD desk and get started on some news, some theories, some fun. Resident Evil 2 Remake, right over there. It is on the way, and that would be 39 days. That is crazy that we're only 39 days away. The intensity's building up. How hyped are you guys? Let me see in the chat. Let's, in the chat, just to start, how excited are you for the game, that it's so close? Did you pre-order the game? What system are you buying it on? Let's get all those details from you guys, because throughout the show, I will be featuring the chat on the screen. This right here is our Twitter poll, so be sure to go over to Twitter and answer this question. Right now, it's who you're going to start with the game. We'll discuss this later in the episode, but your chat right here will be featured on the screen throughout the show, so be sure you guys check in there. Captain Jabber, pre-order for PS4, the Deluxe Edition. Exita, pre-order from Steam. Jetfire's excited. Rob, Xbox One. We got people from all three systems in 3 straight comments. KG Eddie is driving the hype train. Choo-choo! Remember those train whistles? They were like wooden and they go woo-woo! I need to get one of those for this Theory Chat show, for the hype train. Dang it! We're so close. Maybe next week I can get one at the dollar store or something. Remember to click like right down there. Remember to subscribe if you're new. We do a lot of fun stuff. Leave a comment if you're watching replay. Chat in the chat if you're going live. And let's have some fun tonight. And be sure to follow on the social medias, because I do a lot of content on social media that you don't see on the YouTube channel. Specifically Instagram and Twitter get a lot of bonus stuff. Sometimes Twitter gets bonus videos. Instagram gets a lot of crazy stuff. And I get to talk I get to show a little bit more on Instagram and Twitter than in the YouTube videos, because I can't just like take other stuff, but for an image I can show, but for a video I can't always show it, kind of thing. So be sure you're following up there on the social medias. Today on the show, we're going to talk about 3 things that came up this week. We're going to talk about microtransactions. You guys might have heard some rumors about it. Maybe you hadn't heard rumors about it, but that was a story that came out this week or the last few days. We're going to talk about the mini trailers. This is another thing you guys might not have heard of, and the music is loud at times. Let me just go down a little bit. All right. Hopefully that works out. So the mini trailers are released on Capcom's Japanese Resident Evil channel called Biohazard, and not on the US or the English-speaking channel. So you might have missed these. They're about 5-second trailers. There's 20 of them, and they just show different clips. Not a lot here, but we'll go through all 20 of them just to see, in case you guys miss. So if you hadn't seen it, then don't worry about that. And we'll talk about the zapping system. That's the A and B scenarios that Capcom said wasn't in the game. Then we found some kind of evidence that maybe it was, and maybe it's kind of in the game, but only some of it. So we'll talk about all the theories, and nothing is confirmed on that. We'll go through that later. I know There's a magazine article that talks about it. We'll go through that later. Let's get started here with microtransactions, and basically I wouldn't be too worried about this. A lot of rumors were spread this week, but really nothing's going to happen. But let's go through the story of why. Basically, Game Rant comes out with this article, and it says Resident Evil 2 Remake rating confirms microtransactions. So they've confirmed microtransactions based on not even talking to Capcom. They just looked at a rating and they confirmed it themselves. That makes no sense. That's not how you confirm something. You don't guess. That's not a confirmation. I guessed. You actually reach out to the source, which would be Capcom, and you find out for sure. Maybe they don't want to answer it, but this definitely doesn't confirm it. This isn't an inside source. They simply looked at the ESP rating. They don't have, you wouldn't just have to, get it from Capcom. You could get it from another source or inside source, but they did not. They just looked at the ESRB rating, and let's take a look at that right now. If you guys don't want to hear spoilers, then click mute for about 2 minutes, because I'm going to read the ESRB description. There's not really any spoilers in it. I mean, kind of, not really. But anyway, let's go through that. This is a survival horror game in which players assume the roles of a policeman and a college student battling a zombie outbreak in the fictional Raccoon City. From a third-person perspective, players explore environments and use pistols, shotguns, tasers, that's kind of the one that we didn't really know, explosives, and flamethrowers, so it looks like the flamethrower's back, to kill mutant creatures and zombies. Combat is highlighted by realistic gunfire, screams of pain, large blood spatter effects. Cutscenes, this doesn't say gameplay, it says cutscenes, also depict instances of intense violence and gore. Character's throat is ripped out by mutants' teeth, man's body cut in half, entrails dangling from his torso, a man's head is crushed by a zombie's hands, death scene. Some areas also depict mutilated corpses, zombies with exposed organs and viscera. The words "fark" and "shot" are heard in the dialogue. So just from that description, we kind of knew all this stuff was going to be there. They mentioned a couple specific things, but we knew the game was going to be gory. We knew it was going to be bloody. Back in an old episode of Theory Chat, we talked about one of the producers called it the atmosphere. They wanted it to be wet and disgusting. They didn't want it to be cartoon blood. They wanted it to look like real life stuff. And if you guys have seen the demo for Leon or played that, when the police officer gets chopped in half that they talk about here, it's gory, it's disgusting. A face falls off in that demo as well. It's going to be bloody. It's going to be disgusting. Isn't that a website? So what do you guys think about the gore and stuff like that? But anyway, that's just the description. Let's look right up there at that highlighted part that says in-game purchases. Oh my gosh, in-game purchases. So that's what Game Rant saw when they decided to confirm out of nowhere that there were microtransactions. Well, let's look into in-game purchases and see what that means. Oh my gosh, the ESRB themselves. One second of research. I Googled it. Fine, 6 seconds took me to Google it and find this article that completely debunked the confirmation or whatever. Anyways, I'm not going to read this whole thing because it's kind of boring. But basically what happened was this year, so new, 2018, new stuff. It's not going to be an old game, so you can't go back and look at those. They added a new thing called in-game purchases. Basically, a bunch of parents were buying a game, and then their kids were like, more money, more money, more money, more money. So this is to warn parents, basically, that your kids are going to keep asking for money if you buy a game that has microtransactions or loot crates or whatever like that. However, this also is going to apply to any game now that has any purchase. So if there's a DLC, like Resident Evil 7 came out right now, it would have this on there because you can buy the DLC. And that is the key to this whole thing, is that any game where you buy anything, it's going to include this on the label. So, and it says for all games, digital goods where you buy, basically you spend real money, not fake in-game money. Like, I think, doesn't Grand Theft Auto have fake money? See, I don't know much about any other game besides Resident Evil, so I'm not, like, I don't even know what a loot crate is from. I'm guessing Fortnite or something like that. Spider-Man, this is the game that basically really deconfirms their story, because on their ESRB rating, they say in-game purchases, and there are no microtransactions in the Spider-Man game. So that in-game purchases thing, again, right there, it does not mean there's microtransactions. You're not going to have to buy stuff in the middle of the game. It just means something's for sale. And basically what we think that refers to are these costumes here. Oh, there's not supposed to be volume on this. I don't know if you can hear volume or not. Let me check. All right, well, you guys can't hear the volume. For some reason I can, and it's really loud. So the Elsa Walker costume, the film noir costumes, and not only are there costumes, but there's also not only are there costumes, but there's also filters. In Resident Evil 5, I know they had it in 6, where it's like black and white filter. It's really dumb stuff. But some people like it. But they might sell those. So if you buy the deluxe edition, all that stuff comes. But let's say you buy the regular edition, and then later you want to buy the Elsa Walker costume. Well, that's an in-game purchase that they'll probably show. I don't want to talk about it too much and go too crazy, but they could, sell other costumes. Resident Evil 0, they sold a bunch of costumes. What were some of the other stuff? I know Resident Evil 0, some of the games I bought on Steam, they have all this bonus content. Revelations, they had all this extra stuff. It didn't ruin the game, but it was for like the side kind of stuff. So they could add some stuff like that. They could do a future DLC, whatever. We think it just means you can buy the deluxe edition at this point, but we'll find out for sure. But microtransactions are definitely not confirmed. I wouldn't say I've deconfirmed them completely, but I think all this evidence points to the fact that we're not going to see microtransactions. So let's go hit up the chat, see what you guys are talking about here. Barry said the only money should be in the game should be in-game money buying unlockable weapons. And if you guys know anything about Resident Evil Net, it's weird. Like, it's not part of the game, but you can buy stuff on that. So that's another thing that would happen. I mean, it doesn't have anything to do with microtransactions, but I don't think they're going to sell a lot of stuff in this game or anything. I think it would just be the Elsa Walker costume or whatever the deluxe DLC is, and that is it. David says anything you buy in the game is considered a microtransaction. I don't agree with that definition. That is not a microtransaction. Means you're making a bunch of different purchases, not just one. So if you buy a DLC, that's one purchase. It's not a bunch of small purchases. So I don't agree with that definition. But that is what the Game Rant person would say. They would say, oh, well, anything you buy is a microtransaction. I disagree with that. And the way they used it as well is kind of like they want to scare you into, thinking that it's there. But really, when people say microtransactions, they're typically thinking of like loot crates, and you have to buy this in order to pass a level. That's why I hate the amiibos. You like put an amiibo and then all of a sudden a box falls out of the sky. Come on, that's cheating. I don't want to buy an amiibo. And by the way, guys, we've got over 170 people watching right now. If you guys are new, please click subscribe. We're going to have a bunch of coverage leading up to the game and then after the game. So much stuff. Resident Evil 7 was huge leading up, and then it turned out to be even more after. So a lot of stuff there. And don't forget to click like as well. I can't see how many likes we have right now, but I appreciate all the likes that you guys have been dropping. Now let's talk about the Biohazard, or actually before we do this, I want to talk about, I saw Hypersonic talk about the Samurai Edge. The Samurai Edge Chris and Samurai Edge Jill are pre-order bonuses, which is different from DLC, and they might not sell those separately, because I don't think they sold the survival pack separately in RE7. And then there's a Wesker Samurai Edge that's part of the deluxe edition. So there are pre-order bonuses and deluxe bonuses as well. All right, so the Biohazard Resident Evil reports, these are on the Japanese Biohazard channel, which is YouTube/Biohazard. It's hard to find because it's all Japanese, so YouTube search doesn't do a good job, but I think it's /user/Biohazard. And what they've done over the last, month or so, is they release 5 mini trailers at a time. and they're just 5-second clips about Resident Evil 2. We'll watch them all right now, but they came out 5 at a time, and now there's 20 of them. So the latest ones came out a couple days ago. Demon, you can link whatever you want if you're still a moderator, I think, right? So let's just go through them one by one, shall we? And we'll let you guys see this. That's not right. There we go. All right, let's try that one more time.
I'm on it. Thanks, Lieutenant.
Okay, so we've got the audio. We're good to go. That one right there is called Leon. This is number 2. It's called RPD. Again, doesn't really show anything new. Number 3 is called Zombies.
Jesus! They're everywhere!
Number 4 is called Marvin.
If you see one of those things, uniform or not, got it?
And I have gone through these and zoomed in and looked at different things, and I can't really find any secrets. So, as believe it was Mustang said in the chat there, they're kind of pointless. I completely agree, but we'll see. This one here is kind of new. This is not something we've seen before. It's called Claire's Reunion.
Don't lose hope. I'm sure we're gonna find him.
Dinner time.
I think she said dinner time and a zombie got up. But basically right there, they're meeting at the fence in the RPD. And you can see it right there. If you guys follow this channel, we discovered the secret screens in the original trailer that showed Claire and Leon meeting under the helicopter, where Claire's outside the fence and Leon's in. So that looks like this is the part. Again, we'll talk later about maybe Leon and Claire being on opposite sides of the fence. But for now, we will just continue with these. This one is called Claire.
Don't shoot!
Get down! All right?
Thanks.
The alright thanks part was new, but that's basically just showing you the intro to the game that we remember from back in the day. Next one's called Herbs. Basically just shows you the 3 different types of herbs. What's up, Albert F. and Wesker? Nothing much there. This one is called Enhanced Gunpowder. Basically shows you that you can combine things. We already knew that. Liquors. Wow, liquors are in the game. We already knew that. This one was a good one because it kind of shows the shooting range. If you guys hadn't seen some of the other clips, there are some clips of gameplay down in this area. But the shooting range, let's actually come up to this screen. One of the things we'll talk about later in the show is Capcom developers either lying or tricking or whatever. And one of the things they said in the beginning of all this development in the interviews was there's not going to be any Resident Evil 1.5 influence. If you guys don't know what Resident Evil 1.5 is, it's basically Resident Evil 2 was being created, and then they kind of scrapped it at the end and kind of changed it all. And that part before they switched it to Resident Evil 2, they call that 1.5. But it's really just the Resident Evil 2 development. And there is a build you can kind of play online. It's not fun, but people pretend it's fun. And it had the shooting range was one of the parts in it, and now it's in this. And again, the developer said nothing from there is going to be in it. And then the Elsa costume came out, and they're like, just the Elsa costume, and now this. So we're kind of expecting maybe there's some more 1.5 Easter eggs, possibly mentioning Elza Walker's name in a note or something. But we've talked about that before, and we possibly will talk about that again if we see anything else. But let's watch it, shall we? And that you'll notice that also showed the Jill and Chris Samurai Edge, which are the Resident Evil 1 weapons that you get with your pre-order bonus. Over 200 guys. Thank you guys. Click on the like as well. Let's keep going. This one is called Ada Wong.
Lower it. Saving your ass. That's twice.
If you guys are interested in seeing more of these kind of cutscenes without this, the 5-second thing, there are a lot more Ada cutscenes out there. There's some different websites that just take different cutscenes and compile them. I think the one I think that's the most popular is called SHS. I don't know what that is, but you can Google SHS or on YouTube. If you want to see more of the cutscenes, Capcom released everything, so it's not technically a spoiler, but it's more than you probably want to see if you're trying to keep, not everyone's sharing it, but some of the huge websites shared it, like Eurogamer and stuff. But, so only do that if you really don't care. There's not a lot of spoilers or anything, but it just shows a little bit more like that scene right there where you see Ada and Leon meet in the parking lot. There's that SWAT truck over there. This one is called Typewriter. This is the most fun one in the whole game. Oh my gosh, wow, what a great clip. It shows the typewriter that we already knew was in the game. This one's called Zombie Invasion. This one basically highlights the fact that we can now board up windows. If you do not board up a window, the zombie will jump in the window. And if there are in the demo, there are 3 or 4 first floor windows that you can board up, and I believe there's enough boards there as well. But again, it's the demo, so in the real game it might be different. But in the demo, there was enough boards to board them all up, the 3 or 4 windows. But I thought that would be one of the things. Maybe in the real game they give you 4 windows and only 3 boards, and you have to choose wisely. That's one of the fun parts of Resident Evil games, where you balance what you used with your ammo and your health, and then adding this would be another just a tough choice. By the way, thank you everyone who's subscribing. Your name will pop up on the screen up there if you guys are public. So if you're enjoying the show, be sure to subscribe. We do a lot of fun videos here, and I don't put my face on the thumbnails and scream or put what do other people do on YouTube. I don't do fake jump scares. I don't do any of that. I just try to inform you guys on stuff that's happening and have some fun. By the way, thank you, Jason, for the $1.99. Whatever it takes to save the stream, count me in, says Jason. Thank you, Jason. Let's continue. Next one is called Zombie Dog. This is straight from the TGS trailer. Nothing really new there. And I see all you guys in there, Albert, Demon, Dorothy, all the Zom Squad.
Welcome to the family, son.
What's up, Cody? This one's called Gun Shop Kendo. Again, that is from the trailer, but the new part there is that last 0.5 of a second where you see Ada actually saves Leon from Kendo. Again, we're going to talk a little later about maybe will Claire meet Kendo and how that would look. This one is called Sherry. Straight from the
He's right behind you.
straight from the demo gameplay that was released at Gamescom. This one's called Annette.
That's not gonna happen.
The game is over.
You lost.
If you want to see more of Annette, those other channels that compile cutscenes, you can find it on there. This one is called Irons, I think.
Where you going, Sherry?
A little bit new there. You get to see another second or two we haven't seen before in a video motion, but we have seen that image there. I don't know if you guys... It's hard to remember back because unless you have your channel and you do it all the time, I still forget. But one of the original... no, in the original trailer, you can see the mayor's daughter there, and in one of the screenshots you can see her, but that's her back there on the table. Looks like she's been murdered by Irons, and Sherry's in there. That's should be Irons' office or something in the RPD. This one is the big one we're going to talk about. Huge. We're going to talk about this a lot in a minute, but it's called Birkin First G-Form. And remember that name. It's called Birkin First G-Form. That's the name of the video by Biohazard. So we'll talk about that in a minute. And then this is the final one called The Orphanage.
There has to be a way out of here.
And not every they haven't shown anything of The Orphanage, which is awesome because everybody feels like you've already seen the whole game. They keep showing all these things, 20 mini trailers to show you 20 different things. It's crazy. And then 3 trailers and then all the gameplay they keep releasing. But so far they didn't let anyone play The Orphanage, so all those people who have all those different things they're releasing, like Biohazard France and Eurogamer and Aztec guy, where they released all their gameplay the last couple weeks, they were not allowed to play The Orphanage. They only saw this part. And there's a few other seconds of, again, of cutscene footage out there that's nothing new. I mean, it is new, but it's nothing like spoiler. But you can find that on your own. And here's just a look to kind of sum that all up. This is from one of those hidden cutscenes that you can find on different channels. But look how creepy that Irons guy looks. All right, so what do you guys think about these 20 mini trailers? Did you see them? Do you think they're pointless? Did you catch anything that we didn't catch? Again, that one with Birkin, we're going to talk about that later, so you can ignore that. And let's go check on you guys, see what you guys are talking about in the chat. Mustang says, can't wait to see Lion Birkin. Hard Punk says, everyone thinks we've seen so much of the game, but we've probably seen less than 25%. Yeah, I think we haven't seen that much, but we can kind of fill in the blanks of our mind with a little bit more, maybe 33. That would be my number. Mr. X, we kind of talked about him before. If you have questions about Mr. X, we can talk about that at the end of the show. This show is an hour long each time we do it, and we add that stuff. KG says, Orphanage, you're going to play as Sherry. And then Demon, if you want to ban whoever's being weird, if you can do that. I can't follow the chat. It's so quick. And then Rick says he's seen Mr. X naked, and that's a good time to get the chat off the screen. The question is, Rick, did you zoom in? Or did you have to zoom in? How do I get the chat off the screen? There we go. And now Mr. Godchild says they must have seen the video and decided to add the zapping system. I think the video came out first of all, Caliban, who's a big supporter of this channel, did a video 2 months ago saying all this stuff. So maybe they saw his and added it. But, so this is the big thing this week. We did... it was so funny. So when those trailer things came out in Japan, it was 4 a.m. I think 3 or 4 a.m. in the United States. I happened to be up. I was like, oh, I'll check them out. I saw it and I was like, like I freaked out. And then Rely on Horror, they do a blog as well about survival horror games and stuff like that. So the guy that writes for them, Rourke, we basically saw it at the same time and came out with video and articles that posted at the same time. It was crazy, independently from each other. We didn't even see it. So I'm sure a lot of you guys out there, if you saw this clip that we showed before, we'll show it again right now. Oh, no, we won't. Right away something clicked, because 2 months ago at TGS there was another clip and people were saying things and I was screaming, no, you're wrong, it can't be. But let's talk about could there be A and B scenarios or a double tutorial, something like that, and talk about, you know, what we might see that we weren't expecting to see before. Let's start back in July with E3. Resident Evil 2 is surprise announced, and one of the things all the interviews said with the producers, here's one with Rely on Horror, but basically that the zapping system is basically in Resident Evil 2, it means if one character does something in one scenario, it affects the other. So in Leon A, if you take the side pack, in Claire B, the side pack is gone. So that counts as like a zap, I guess. It's kind of confusing, but basically it means A and B scenarios. It does not mean A and A scenarios. That's different. There's like a double zap in the original game. You can either do the one way and zap and then the other way and zap. So it's kind of confusing. But basically here's their, you know, the producer of the game, what he said. He just to kind of summarize all the different interviews and everything, they basically said they thought the zapping system was cool. It added a lot of replayability, but they wanted to kind of simplify it to eliminate the A and B scenarios and kind of put together A and B scenarios into one story. We all thought maybe that would help with the canon storyline, kind of give us an idea of who met Kendo, who met Marvin, really, because Claire A, Leon B is the canon scenario based on the fact that Sherry at the end, something happens with her, and thank you, Steven. But really, like, I mean, it's kind of up for interpretation, some of the other parts that happen in there. I mean, some people are just like obsessed with, it's Claire A, Leon B, Claire A, Leon B, and they freak out, right? That's right, Claire A, Leon B. I think so, yes. But I try to tell them, yes, the storyline of Sherry or whatever moves on to the next game, but not every single thing. Like if you eat a sandwich in one scenario, that doesn't mean it happened in canon. So it only happened in canon if it's proven to happen in canon. Anyway, doesn't matter. We've talked about that way too many times. So why are we talking about this being in the game? Because Capcom developers said it's not going to be in the game. Let's watch this quick video and tell me if you see anything strange here.
So nobody knows what caused this?
There's a lot of theories, but all I know for sure is that this place is crawling with zombies.
Leon, I'm sure you beat me here. So nobody knows what caused this?
There's a lot of theories, but all I know for sure is that this place is crawling with zombies.
That is correct. You have seen Claire talking to Marvin here, but wait, what? Wait a minute. Leon talked to Marvin and it looked exactly the same. So this came out of TGS, and that's when Caliban made a video. I think one or two people made videos back then. I actually was very lazy back then. If you haven't noticed, I took a break like right after that. So I had that video ready to go back then, and then this new information came out. But let's look at 3 things in this image here. We'll basically go through the different things that kind of are evidence to the fact that maybe there's 2 kinds of scenarios or something. But we'll start with this little clip here. And yes, Wesker, if it's a bologna sandwich, it is... Wait, if one sandwich is ham and the other's bologna. No, bologna is always canon, right? I'm pretty sure it's like an unwritten video game rule that if there's a bologna sandwich, it's automatically canon. There's like a hierarchy. It's like bologna, turkey, ham, salami, and then it just goes down and down and down. I think the bottom is just a Vegemite sandwich. A Vegemite sandwich! So look in this image here. We've got a knife, we've got a book, and we've got a computer. So the computer is the least exciting piece of evidence here that they're the same. But Leon and Claire meet Marvin. He's got the computer up. It's got that red flashing screen there. And it's showing the security camera in the break room hallway, and basically what's happening in that hallway is the cop Elliot is messing with some zombies. So actually Leon sees this first, but when Leon goes to save him, Marvin comes in and swoops up the laptop anyway, he's watching that. So Leon goes in there, he saves his broski, and he doesn't really save his broski because broski got toe-skied and half-skied, and comes back to Marvin, and now Marvin's here with the computer. Now he's got 4 screens up there. He's no longer watching that room because he already knows what happened. He's not monitoring that room. He's monitoring other places, including Claire here. So if you remember back at that screen, Marvin was looking at that red room when Claire met him. But why would he be still looking at that if that already happened? And let's take a quick look at this clip here just to show you that also Marvin doesn't know Claire. So according to the Leon demo, Leon arrives first, Claire is behind.
There you are. Come here. Take a look.
Yes. I knew she'd make it.
You know her?
Yeah. Name's Claire. I came into town with her.
You can get to that courtyard. Through the 2nd floor. East side.
I'm on it. Thanks, Lieutenant.
So Marvin says, do you know her? Leon says he does. And then Marvin doesn't go, I know her too. Sorry. So it kind of shows that Marvin didn't meet her. So theoretically, Leon met her first according to these cutscenes. And Claire is not even in the RPD. She looks to be locked out. So Claire, how does this happen? Claire with Marvin with that computer screen. It doesn't seem to make sense. Now let's look at the knife and the book. And let's watch how the book and the knife come into play here. Leon finds the book, the notebook.
Hopefully you'll be able to find a way out of this station. That officer you met earlier, Elliot. He thought this secret passageway might do the trick.
And now Marvin has given Leon the book.
We can get you to a hospital.
No, I am not the priority here. You're here now, Leon. That's all that matters.
Okay, Lieutenant. I'm ready.
Hopefully you'll be able to find a way out of this station. That officer you met earlier, Elliot. He thought this secret passageway might do the trick.
Did this just repeat?
This is good news. We can get you to a hospital.
All right. Anyway, it repeated. I don't know why I did that. Anyway, so yes, Leon actually finds the book. There's a scene where Leon gets saved by Marvin, and then all of a sudden Marvin has the book. It's cut out. We don't even think Leon's wearing his police outfit. We think that's all fake as well for the trailers. And there's a whole cutscene, I think, in the middle cut out. But anyway, Marvin has the book. He gives it to Leon, and it's in Leon's inventory for the remainder of the demo. Leon has the book. He's not giving it back to Marvin. There's no second copy of the book. And at the end of that video, which I don't think we went all the way through because it skipped or repeated, Marvin handed Leon the knife. You guys all remember that. Here's Leon with the knife, 5 seconds later, and he takes it with him. There are multiple combat knives in the game, but do you think Marvin has a bunch of them? Because it was sitting on that chair when he gave it to Leon, and now it's sitting on that chair when he meets Claire. A lot of coincidences there. So let's just talk about this one specific instance, I say. What does it mean? Does it mean A and B scenarios? No, that's why, 2 months ago, I was skeptical to even release the video /lazy. So what do I think that this clip means independently? I thought it meant back then that maybe they would two different things. Number one, there's a tutorial demo thing. So when you start the game, it says pick Leon or Claire, and you just do a demo of the RPD. And basically the demo that we saw of Leon, maybe there's one with Claire, and it's just the beginning of the game. Resident Evil 6 made you start the game doing a demo. You couldn't skip it. It's really annoying if you got a new system or whatever and had to start it again because you had to do that first scenario. Maybe there's a workaround. I'm not exactly sure. But that's what I had thought. Maybe it's a tutorial, something like that. The other thing is, like I said, we already know they've been manipulating cutscenes just based on different screen shots. I haven't done the video on that either. That was back 2 months ago. But basically, Leon's wearing a jacket, and all of a sudden, in one of the demo clips, like they messed up by one frame when they released it. And when you go back to that one frame, he's wearing a jacket, and the next frame he's wearing the police outfit, like he had just changed clothes. So they're manipulating that. And if you watched the video where they show the classic costumes, you can see the original cutscene with the classic costumes and with the new costumes, and it's the same scene that they switched the costumes on, I believe. Let's go check out the chat real quick. See what you guys are talking about. I know everybody's got a lot of great theories on this, and they're going by quickly. Let's see. Mustang said, Leon mentions a phone call that told him to stay away. I know. I didn't even notice that, like, from July to now. I noticed it today and yesterday when I went through Leon's thing. I swear it wasn't in the original trailer or whatever, but that is a good point that nobody's really talking about. My first assumption yesterday was that it's probably... some Umbrella knew that, new cops were coming and they didn't want anybody coming into town, so they, made that happen. Torn Normal says, where's the video of the subliminal jacket? I don't have a video, but going to my Instagram, you can find at Where's Barry B, the picture of the jacket and a red arrow to the second, showing the second frame. It was funny. Some guy got furious. He goes, red arrow. Like, how YouTubers put like an arrow and they point to something in the thumbnail. It's like something very obvious. And the guy's like, you're just using a red arrow for clicks. And I'm like, no, the red arrow showing, in my thing, it was showing time. Frame 1, frame 2, arrow, time. Anyway. So the thing about the jacket is it's in a playthrough clip, but in the demo there's a scene where Leon's walking the RPD, and one he has the cop outfit and one he has the jacket on as well. That's the second clue. Anyway, we're not supposed to be talking about that. We're supposed to be talking about the knife and stuff. All right, let's get back to our evidence of double scenarios. By the way, thanks to everybody who's clicked the thumbs up. How many thumbs ups we got so far? I don't know. Over 240 people watching. Welcome. Thank you. Thank you to all the new subscribers. We've been popping them like they're bottles. I don't even know. Next. All right. So remember, that was 2 months ago, that Marvin stuff. I didn't want to do the video. I kind of was skeptical. Then this came out, and boom, light bulb. That clip right there is Leon fighting Birkin. Like I said, the title is his first form. Now, why does this look familiar? Well, that's because Claire fought Birkin in his first form. But wait, how can Leon fight Claire, or Leon fight Birkin and Claire fight Birkin in the first form? Because in the original game it was first form, second form. Why would they have both characters fight the first form in the same place? Look on the far side there. You can see that this is the same exact location. The same location. You can watch my video on this. It goes into a little more detail. I don't have all the clips here. There's another trailer clip where Birkin falls through a grate and he falls over an edge. But, I mean, this is definitely the same spot. So, again, are they doing the same thing? Is this part of the tutorial? Because it's also part of the demo. Is it just a second demo? Is it just, a trick? We don't know for sure. But we do know they seem to be fighting at the same spot, and this is a little different than just a cutscene where they change up, because this is gameplay. Why would they create fake gameplay? So this gameplay exists somewhere. It's all swirling around in my head. It's making me crazy. And there's another thing that happens where each character falls through the library, and people are like, well, if one character falls through, the other doesn't have to fall through, or they don't have to go. And basically, it's very confusing, but you have to think of it like Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure or Back to the Future. You have to think about the space-time continuum and alternate dimensions. And basically, the floor can't break for both. It can't break for either. Like, it just can't, because Leon and Claire are playing in one timeline. So if you start the game as Leon, you're in the timeline. If you start the game as Claire, you're in the same timeline. So if Leon breaks the thing, but Claire already went through the library and it wasn't broken, the world explodes. So people are saying your library thing is not true. It actually is true. However, most of the game, there's probably stuff like the library thing that gets eliminated. Like it's just video game logic. Like, it doesn't matter. They don't have to be 100%, like that. But in real life, if that's how it worked, the library part evidence would be part of it or something. But Bill and Ted, if you guys don't remember, they're like sitting here and they go, hey, let's go back in time and remember to put a water there. And then, oh, it's a water. Like, it just appears. It's awesome. Watch Bill and Ted. And watch Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. It's free on Prime Video, I think, because I watched it and I'd forgotten about it. And I think at the end of all my streams, I say, catch you later, evil dudes. All right, so let's talk about Residents of Evil. After I did my video, they did a video talking about the theories that Rely on Horror and me came up with, and brought up this PlayStation magazine that came out a month ago. And Demon98 in the chat, while I was making this video, we were talking on Discord, and he was sending me the different clips of the article, and I kept reading them over and over and over, and I'm like, I can't believe it. Like, it's just so weird the way it's written. And let's go through it real quick. This is kind of the main piece that they used in their video. And it says Ben is incarcerated after attempting to investigate the dodgy dealings of Raccoon City Police Department Chief Brian Irons. Regardless of whether you're playing Leon's A or B scenario, he meets a sticky end in his cell after offering a few helpful hints to Ada and Leon. That scene, which is new to emotive lighting and acting, has more impact in the beautifully done remake. It sounds like there's Leon A and B in Resident Evil 2 Remake, but I'm pretty sure the entire first 80% of that sentence is talking about the old game, because it says, with its new scene, it has more impact in the new game. So that A and B scenario there, in my opinion, is talking about the old game. It's not talking about the new game. So I don't like that piece of evidence right there. However, the same article, this is the one, is number 2. And by the way, it's PlayStation UK Magazine. The top 50 reasons Resident Evil 2 is awesome or something. And they go through all 50, and like, you can buy this or whatever at the store. It comes with, I think it comes with like some RPD stuff, like a sticker or a badge or something. But I googled, like, what did PlayStation Magazine say, and then something popped up that kind of basically told me everything. But number 2 here is, by the way, it's terrible headings. Like, the writing is terrible. I don't understand it. Who wrote this? I thought in the UK they were supposed to be better at writing than or better at the language than in America, but whatever. So just like the original, the new game opens with its heroic twosome, bike-loving student. She's a bike-loving student, whatever. Claire Redfield and rookie cop Leon S. Kennedy, meeting and losing each other as an oil tanker crashes and explodes. After the pair resolve to meet at the police station, Claire soon encounters young Sherry Birkin, caring for her throughout both of her scenarios. That doesn't sound like it's talking about the original game. That sounds like it's talking about this game. But is the person writing this so like caught up in the thing that they're confused it and they can't remember which game is which, the old game, the new game? Did they write it on purpose, both the scenarios? Are they talking about the old game? Do they think they're talking about the old game? This is the one here that I think is the real evidence that this magazine, it's stronger evidence, I think, than 21, because I think 21 was kind of talking, like I said, about something else, the old game. But this one here, both of her scenarios. And then I'm like, okay, Demon, 98 Demon. I think number 2, I think we got it here. And then I read number 11. And it says, in Claire's scenario. Now they've gone back to Claire's one scenario. They're not talking about scenarios, they're talking about one. Why? Why'd they go 2, now 1? What are they talking about? It's really confusing. I don't think it confirms anything. I think the evidence of the videos that we showed is the biggest confirmation. This is a little... I almost throw this away, like the judge would throw it out because it's too confusing, because there's 3 contradicting points, in my opinion, and the judge would throw it out. But, you know, that's just my opinion. I think... that, like I said, that number 2, it says it right there. So, I mean, I guess I should be reaching out to the person who wrote the article. I think Capcom should comment. I think they should just answer all my questions on Twitter whenever I send them anything. But that's the PlayStation Magazine part of the evidence. So what do you guys think? You guys have been watching it for... I mean, you guys have been following it, a lot of you, as much as I did, some of you more than me. What do you think is going on with this double thing? Do you, like I said, is it a tutorial level? Is the whole game A and B scenario? Is it like a mini part of the beginning? Because the rest of the footage, it doesn't look like they're repeating. It looks like Leon and Ada are going this way, and Sherry and Claire are going that way. So that looks like it's separate. But in the beginning, at the RPD, in the early part, that's why I think it's like a tutorial. You start the game in the beginning. It says start game. It doesn't say, and then it says Leon and Claire, but maybe there's just one way, and then 2 ways. Or maybe it's A and B, and there's 2 ways, and then 2 other ways. It's so confusing to me, just from this. So I wish they would tell us, because you really want to know, because when you start your game, you want to know who to start with. Do I start as Leon or Claire? Like, you want to know. Here's the other thing that came out this week. Biohazard France was the article I saw. I don't know if they interviewed or they translated an interview from the producers or whatever, but what they said is you have to beat both characters to get the final ending. So if you forget A, B, let's say there's Leon and Claire. You beat Leon, you have to now beat Claire, and once you beat Claire, that's going to unlock the final chapter. And go to Biohazard France, read that interview. I didn't quote it like up on the screen or whatever, but that's how it's going to work. You have to beat both characters to get the real ending. So I don't know if there's a second ending that happens if you beat Leon, and then when you beat Claire, it's the real ending, or if it just ends and says to be continued, and you have to fight Claire, and then boom, they both maybe meet up at the end or something. Or maybe it could also be you play Leon, then you play Claire, then you play the ending for Claire and the ending for Leon, and those are 2 real endings. So, again. Oh, and great question, Albert F. and Wesker. The developer Anthony guy seems to be very fraudulent. One of the things he did to pretend to make it look like he had the demo was he took a picture that Kat played from Capcom's official feed and just cut her out of it. So it looked like he had the demo screen, but really, if you look at it, he just cut out the right side of the picture where she was on there. And then, again, another guy who he tells you, oh, the demo's coming here, and then his next tweet, I think he got banned or whatever, so maybe it is true, but his next tweet was, well, I was wrong, it actually got delayed, so I never believe it went, especially when there's a second tweet that says, oh, they delayed it. My original thing is wrong. So I'm not sure. Did he get banned or did he just sign off and get fake banned? I haven't really followed it because I didn't really follow that while it was live happening. There's also another account called Evil VR, which is totally fake, 100%. They guess things and then they delete it afterwards. And it's also a guy who's on Reddit. I believe he runs the account, but he always shares it. It's got to be his. So beware of that guy. His name's Up to 1 Minute. Beware of his posts. Yeah, I don't know if maybe he deleted the Twitter. Yeah, I don't know. Why would he have to delete the Twitter? Because there's some people who are still sharing the alligator battle on YouTube, and they're not even getting banned. All right, anyway, back to the chat here. Finboy said A and B would be the same story no matter what, but you get to play them with either character. Oh, the other thing about if there's A and B in the RPD is they would have different cutscenes, like, or at least slightly different ones, because Leon is talking to Marvin, and Leon's like, he's like rookie cop. So when he talks to Claire, he's not gonna be like rookie cop. So there'll be different, if there are different scenes, but like the same scene but different scenarios. They're going to have different dialogue, so it will at least be a little different. Kendo talked to Claire a little different in the original game. I don't know if there was some other stuff like that, but I think it would be more different than... It would be more fun because it would be different. Like, it wouldn't just be the same thing like Resident Evil 2 mostly was, the original. The two different scenarios that are the same would have differences, I think. But again, I don't really know. I'm just guessing. And then there's, what's up, Caliban just jumped into the chat. Caliban's the one who posted the original video. Demon, I don't know if you can link that through Discord, through here or something. I don't know. All right, what else do we got? Is that it? So that is it for the zapping discussion there. And again, every time I talk about it, I'm confused. I don't know how it would work. Everything throws me off. I just wish that they would tell us something. This is not like the spoiler. Like, they don't have to hide this. Tell us this. Don't tell us, who the zombie girl is. Don't tell us about the alligator fight. But do tell us, like, how the game's gonna actually work.